You're listening to the Survivor Sweat Podcast with Mike Buckmiller and Russell Rosenblum. If you are looking to buy, sell, swap, or hire a proxy for your entry, head to survivorsweat.com. Now, let's get to it.
All right.
Rolling.
Welcome back to the Survivor Sweat Pod.
In the studio.
Yes, good to be back in the studio.
I don't know if it's good, but it's around.
Do you know what time zone you're in?
No. All I know is, I don't know if it's good news or bad news. I wasn't really able to watch any of the last two Raiders games live from overseas because they started at like 1:30, 2:30 in the morning. So I missed them both.
Well, good for you.
Yeah, no,
good for you. That last one was quite the ordeal. Some of the decisions in that game, coaching. I like Pete Carroll, and I'm thinking, how is this happening on a Pete Carroll coached squad? Like from special teams on down, just the decision making is just absolute baffling. You know, and the fact is, this is the first time. I think they said the first time in the history of NFL that a team has had somebody kneel on the ball prior to the 2-minute warning in the same season. I mean, Dallas was just like, yeah, they felt bad enough. But they couldn't do that because they had too many people on the field for the Raiders. They could not even take the kneel.
That's, well, maybe they don't practice that play as much as they should.
It's unbelievable.
Get out there. And this week they'll practice the kneel down play.
Yeah, there was just some things that are so baffling. I just don't know what's going on there. But anyways,
I saw something. Sorry, it was like a YouTube. I didn't even watch the video yet. It was Rich Eisen or something. And it was the title of it was like the Raiders. This isn't working.
No.
It's like, really, thanks.
And can you really fire their coach?
Again, it's too much guaranteed money for too long of tenures for all these coaching contracts. It's crazy.
They got 4 on the books right now.
Right. Anyways,
my name is Mike Buckmiller. This is Russell Rosenblum, my partner in Sweat. We were the 2022 Cirque Survivor champion under the Jed entry name, and I'm happy to report the Packers didn't get us, although I just knew that they would. I don't know.
Looked that way.
It was the right play. I kept trying to talk myself out of it.
You did.
And I kept sending you texts.
You did. I kept pretending I was asleep and didn't see them.
That's right. It was the play. And, you know, it seems like every year there's always like one team that gets you.
Used to be the Broncos.
This year it's kind of been the Packers. And I'm like, we got to play this spot. Yeah. We have to play this spot. You know, we played the Patriots on another ticket.
Right. We knew they'd be chalky, but it was the only play for us left.
And we had to play the Packers. So, yes, we're happy to be through with a couple bullets here. And, let's recap Week 11 here. 61 hit the skids.
Wow.
We are at 95% of the entire pool that has been eliminated through Week 11 for the third week in a row.
Which means you're close, right? It means you're close?
Yeah.
No.
That's what they like to say.
Not close.
For the third week in a row, all the picks were submitted.
Amazing.
Yes, it's great. And as Russ alluded to, we are not close.
Not close.
We are not close. There are 939 of the original 18,718 entries in the winner take all 18 million and some change. So, yes, we.
What's that?
You could buy a house with that change.
You could buy a house with that change. Here at Simply Vegas.
I will take the change. But yes, you are sub 1,000, and it feels like you've been through 95% of the entire pool that signed up, and yet still got a ways to go.
Oh, yeah.
Still got a ways to go.
Well, we'll see what happens if you make it through this week, and then you can get through Thanksgiving. You know, then we'll see if we're finally getting quasi-close.
Yeah, it's going to get serious here momentarily. But in Grandissimo, they're close. This week,
I would say that is close.
There's no blood. 4 entries got to sit back and root on the Bengals. No joy. And as of now, I'm hearing there's no discussions, no deal, no chop, no nothing. And there's 6 remaining. And there are a few that are out there in the Twitter universe that are happy with their position, and they're ready to roll the dice, if you will, and make their picks and see where it lands.
And I'll remind you, I mean, you don't need all 6 people to make a deal or a save. You could have 2 of you that just get together and decide you're going to, partner.
Yep.
The whole thing, 50-50 of each of you. It doesn't no guarantee you get to the finish line, but you can increase your probability of getting there.
Yep.
So, I mean, there are things you can do. You don't need unanimity to make a deal.
This is true.
And it's not cheating. I mean, it's collusion, but it's permitted in this contest. So
That's right.
You are allowed to partner up with everybody or just one person.
And I've had a discussion with somebody that's in Grandissimo regarding those same parameters. And, in some sense, it felt like cheating because they come from the poker world and universe.
In poker, it would be cheating.
And it's cheating.
100%. And I would not say to do it in poker. It's 100% cheating.
That's correct. And in terms of game theory, a lot being played on X. There are people right now discussing who they're taking this week. And I'm sure they're trying to push people off their spot.
Right. And I think they're right to try it.
And
you just have, and I think for the most part, the people that are doing that are probably telling the truth. They're saying who they're going to take. Because it's interesting. It's unlike poker, right? Where here, I don't think there's a lot of value in lying to say who you're going to take. To get somebody else and take the same thing you're taking. If you were lying, that's what you don't want, right? So,
correct.
You're more likely to be telling the truth, but it's sort of a first out there, right? So if you say I'm going to take Team X, somebody else also says no, I'm going to take Team X. And it's like, well, no, I don't. I'm saying this because I don't want you to do it. Mine's already in.
Yeah.
Maybe it isn't already in.
Yeah.
Right. And you can have the leveling war that way.
Yeah. And again, we've mentioned this before. If you're not in Grandissimo, it's great to follow this, whether it's in the X and Twitter universe, or just follow their picks and look and see who they have available, and try to, play the game theory game. Just try.
What would I do when I'm there? So it prepares you. It's the same like. You can read about poker all you want, right? And you can play poker tournaments, but until you've played a final table, you don't really know what it's like to be at a final table. But you should watch final tables, and until you get to 3-hand, like final table too, it's very different from the main tournament. Everybody knows that. But once you get down to, I'd say, 9-handed, 8-handed, 7-handed is not all that different. When you get down to 6, it starts to get different. When you get down 3, 4, 5, it's very different. Certainly 3-handed is way different than heads up. Way different than heads up. It's by the very nature of it, just the way the button moves. So watching it and being familiar with it is valuable. So if you ever end up there, you've kind of seen what people do, and that's the same here. You really should be looking at what they're doing. You should be looking at some of the game theory online and what they're saying. I don't want to call it angle shooting because it isn't that, but you should start to think about what I might do if I were in that situation. Like you said, go look at the board. Go look at the board and go, who might I take? It's very hard, I would say impossible, when you're looking at 900 entries left to go, okay, the entry 1 is going to take the Colts and entry 2 is going to take the Giants.
Yeah.
You're looking at it in broad swaths, like 20% will be this, 25. But when we got down, I think for us, it was in the 30s. When there were 30, maybe 40, it was somewhat, it's still hard. I mean, it's a lot of entries, but somewhat manageable at 30 to kind of go down and literally go down every entry, one entry at a time. But when you're looking at, 6, it's inexcusable to not be able to do it.
Absolutely.
And it's very straightforward to go down with 6. And
for sure.
Because, by the way, that doesn't mean you're just looking at, okay, here's who they have left, here's who they're taking. You should probably go back and look at prior weeks.
Yeah.
Is this a guy that always took the chalk? Is this the guy that when there was a very chalky team took the second best or third best? Or, what kind of is their strategy in general, and how likely are they to replicate?
You kind of get a feel for how they're playing down there when it gets down to that few entries. And so, as Russ mentioned, when we're in the thousands and now even sub-1,000, 900, we're looking at big percentages,
right.
As opposed to sub-15, sub-10, sub-6.
Even 100, it's very hard. I mean, it's really is like sub-40 or something.
I mean, you get down to the final 3,
and then you spend most of your time looking at not so much who they have available, but what their track record was.
Yeah.
What are their propensities? You might even dig, if you know who the person is, and you might even dig towards, what is their background, right? Like Blez is out, but if Blez was still in,
sure,
you would kind of know his mentality from things he said in the past and his propensity to be willing to gamble, right? And so you might look and go, okay, this is who I would take in his spot, but I have a feeling this is not who he is going to take in this spot because he knows I know, and it's fun. I mean, it's actually just fun to do.
Yeah, and some of these that are still left in Grandissimo, they're not just poker players. They're successful poker players.
Well, of course, and if they weren't there, first of all, you still have to find. I'm less surprised than a lot of other people that there aren't deals here, just because even if you only had one entry here, only one, it's $100,000, right? If you only had one entry in the main and you ran it down to 6 entries or something, you might have only been in for $1,000. You only had one entry, and you might have partners. You might not even be in for the whole 1,000 yourself, right? Here, whatever the group is, had at least $100,000. So I'm certainly not suggesting that, 1.15 million is nothing, but just to make basically 10 times on your money, it's fine. It's good. It's $1 million. Again, but it's still only roughly 10, 11 extra money. It's not. That shouldn't in of itself be, if that's life-changing, you shouldn't have been in for 100,000. And even if you're saying they have partners, they're only in for 50. Okay, but then you're only getting back 500, right? So it's the same thing. That should not be a 10x return in a contest like this should not be life-changing money for you, or you shouldn't be in it and whatever. So I'm not as surprised, and they are probably successful at poker or whatever else there's the doing that they were able to come up with the cash to do it. That said, not that I wouldn't make a save or something. I'm not saying they're right to not make a deal. I'm just saying I'm less surprised than other people are.
Sure, and if you check out Saturday Night Sweat, we try to have them on. And we were fortunate enough to have Sam Silverall on, one of the gentlemen that's still remaining in it. And he discussed, what his thoughts were regarding it. And, Sam's a multi-time WSOP bracelet winner. He's won some of the biggest tournaments in the world. And he's out there and trying to do what he can to get to the finish line here.
Right. And I'm sure if the right situation comes up at the end, he might make a save or a hedge. Maybe not. I don't know. But I would imagine if the right, like anything else, if he feels like he's getting value in the deal, either positive value or even if it's neutral value and you're just rolling, like if you're down to the last week and you're rolling dice and you find yourselves both in this last game and you're, I have a 66% favorite and you have a 66% favorite to go in. So our choices, and we have different teams, and our choices are just go hedge. Yeah. And so we can pay juice to Circa, or the two of us can just go chop it up. I would imagine, and they've got gamble them. They might chop up half and play for half or something, but it would be surprising at that juncture if they wouldn't make some. That's the equivalent of saying, let's just run it twice, right?
Yeah.
Like you may as well at that point. So
sure. So at 4:00 on the Survivor Sweat X platform, we post the percentage projections of where we think the public is going to land, along with our selections for the week. We had...
How do we do, Coach?
I think we did okay. I think we were off a little bit on the... Wait a minute. I don't like this one here. This is...
Which do you not like?
Well, the Patriots. What was the one? It was the Patriots here. So the Patriots came up with 44%, and we had it about 35 to 40. And, I mean, I felt like there could be more, but, you just don't know with those Thursday games in terms of,
hate them.
How many... They've stung some people in the past.
I mean, I know I hate them. We were on them, but I know I hate them.
And but you could see the point spread in the Houston Texans and the Titans game. It started at 7.5. It went to 7, 6.5, and it hit down to 6. So you're kind of looking at that trend and almost thinking, how does that correlate with people in Survivor and how they're going to pick? And it's Mills. It's the second string quarterback. It's the Titans coming off the bye. So, we had them.
Titans coming off the bye.
I know. It's scary.
They've had 10 weeks of bye.
I thought between 15 and 20%. They landed at 12.9%. So Moore took the quote-unquote big favorite and went with the Patriots.
Despite the Thursday. Well, for example, us, and we knew they were going to be chalky. Like I said, in one of our entries, it wasn't even about, we'll just do it this one week. It wasn't that at all. I mean, our other options were pretty much non-existent on that entry.
Yeah. Below them, Pittsburgh. We had Pittsburgh and Green Bay between 5 and 10%. They landed right in there, 11.5%, 9.5%, give or take. The Ravens were the tricky one for me because once the Patriots won, once the chalk wins, I don't think you want to burn Baltimore there.
I agree.
I mean, because they are such a big play for that.
Yeah, you've already lost the opportunity to knock 40% out. That's gone anyway. Yeah. So at that point, it's like, you're hoping you knock 12% out with one of these other teams. You may as well just be on the 12% team. If you prefer the game. Maybe you don't prefer the game. Different question. But you've got other spots that you're probably going to need the Ravens.
Yeah, and one would assume if you had the Ravens and you played them, you probably have the Eagles.
Right.
But anything can happen week to week, injuries. And so you want to have, multiple teams to choose from. Maybe you even have the Chiefs there. But like this week, the Ravens are versus the Jets at home. And so I just didn't see the 8% going there. I mean, Pool Genius was saying that they would be in that range, but I just thought after the Patriots, sealed the deal and 44% were getting through, you just can't burn
because
that
you
team
do
in
have
that
the
spot.
ability, right? You do have the ability to wait and make that decision. You don't have to make it ahead of time.
And then there was the Falcons. It's one of those teams I was real skirmish with. I just, they were on our list that we could take, but there was nothing from the metric standpoint. And I tried to not be biased of the 30-0 game earlier in the year, and I just did not like the Falcons there.
Try not to be biased. I think you said a week earlier to me separately. You said, "Yeah, we're not kidding."
Yeah.
Like, how are we going to be on the Falcons after they just got blown out 30-0 by the same
The
team?
matchup was bad, in my opinion, based on numbers. And then the Falcons also came back from Europe, and they didn't take the week either.
Right.
I'm seeing more and more teams do that and not having a lot of success in doing so.
It's shocking. Shocking. That's not successful. Like, I just flew back from Europe. I don't think I can get that on a football field today. It'd be hard. Put it this way. If today was Sunday, it would be hard for me to go out and watch a Raiders game live.
Yeah, let alone play.
Well, it's always hard to watch a Raiders game live.
You could probably start for the Raiders if you
It might be easier for me to be on the sideline. They don't expect
You
much there.
definitely have to have
They
some
expect more from you in the stands than they do on the field,
You
apparently.
definitely have to have some premium cocktails for that.
Correct. I could actually take a snap in the shotgun and take a knee. I could probably do that out of the shotgun. I don't think I could do it under center. I'd be a little too scared. It would kill me. But out of the shotgun, I could probably just take the knee. But I don't know if the center could snap. It might go way over my head. I don't know if the center could snap that low. I need the long snapper where they snap low. That's what I need.
Well, we didn't take Russ. We took the Patriots and Packers, so we survived.
We did.
The Patriots we knew would be heavily owned, but way that our entry lined up, it was our best spot.
It was our only spot, really. There was
yeah,
no
it was
other
our only
spot. It
spot.
wasn't our best spot. It was our only spot.
Well, we could have took the Falcons.
Well, sure. I mean, it was the only spot of a team. It wasn't even about avoid the chalk. We like this game a little less. It was the only game that was plausible that we liked, other than, you start burning a Thanksgiving team or Christmas team or running out of those.
Yep. Hey, Nick, what did last year's champions do? How'd they fare off? Are they still in?
Hey guys, Nick from Survivor Sweat here. During the filming of this podcast, my audio was actually the one that got screwed up. Thank God it wasn't Mike or Russ's audio, but I'm going to have to re-edit myself into this podcast. But to answer Mike's question, C3 picks got 1 through with the Houston Texans. Dream Stakes, the Meatball Brothers, aka the Meatball Comrades, and Pumbaa Pack all got their entries through with the Patriots on that Thursday night game. So as of right now, the 2024 champions all have 1 bullet left in the Circa Survivor contest. Back to the podcast.
I read early the Meatball Brothers.
We count 2. 5. Thank you.
previous champs.
I know. From last year. That's true. That's better. That's more close.
I saw the Meatball
That's more
Brothers
closer.
tweet out that they were going to have a stress-free Sunday of watching football. That they just get through with that.
That's the benefit of getting through on Thursday. The downside is you bust on Thursday. You're like, hey, why the hell did I take a Thursday game? I know I hate Thursday games. And then it's like, hey, so where do you want to watch the games on Sunday? You're like, what games they're playing this week? I'm done.
Yeah.
I'll watch at Survivor Sweat headquarters, see if I can get a deal on
That's
another
right.
entry.
All right. Well, that's a wrap for Week 11. We'll look ahead to Week 12 and try to figure out where the best spots to land are. So we'll be back after the break.
Couldn't have imagined that it would happen. To be here today and collect this check. This is amazing.
Do you have what it takes to win the biggest football handicapping contest in Las Vegas? If you live out of state but want to enter either the Circa Sports Millions or the Circa Survivor Contest, you've come to the right place.
But do you not live in Las Vegas? There's a solution with Survivor Sweat. Place from anywhere in any of the biggest sports contests. Fly to Las Vegas and schedule an appointment to get signed up. Can't make it to Vegas? Just buy an entry form from the marketplace. Either way, submit your picks each week into the contest using Survivor Sweat Proxy.
Kudos to Circa, Survivor Sweat, and everybody else. Once in a lifetime experience. Thank you.
With over $20 million in guaranteed prizes, you can sweat small, win big. Visit SurvivorSweat.com or call for more information.
Welcome back. Your dreams.
All right, we are back. Let's look ahead to week 12. Looking at this run out, what jumps out at you, Mr. Russ?
That we're still in.
Yeah, that's true.
I like that part.
Actually, we went out in this week last year, right before
Was this the
Thanksgiving.
week? You went and looked it up?
The Titans.
Thanks. Appreciate that.
Yeah, the Titans.
Oh, yeah. I remember that.
Texans game.
Yeah. This is amazing.
Bad
Yeah, if you
Thanksgiving.
say Fairbairn in the mirror at 3 a.m. 3 times, Mike will
God.
show up behind you like Bloody Mary.
Exactly.
Oh
The ghost
my
of Survivor
God,
Past.
Yes.
Well, I guess we're looking at a lot of people might be jumping on board the Niners this week.
yeah.
I mean, it looks like there are going to be 3 teams that are comprised, It's interesting because it's usually tough to start picking a team that's outside the top 3. Like we say to avoid the chalk, usually you're avoiding the most popular team. You're kind of going down there in the second, maybe third team. Sometimes you go down there to the fourth if you really like the spot. It's going to be tricky this week, right? Because you're looking at, in terms of popularity anyway, you're looking at the Niners are probably going to be extremely popular against Carolina.
Yep.
But you're also looking at the mid-20s, mid to high 20s, and you're looking at Baltimore versus the Jets in the mid-20s, but you're back in a spot where you've got a special week team. And then you're looking at Seattle, right? So that's a decent spot for sure at Tennessee. So I think Seattle's a great spot if you got them. A lot of people used them. There was a week when a bunch of people busted and you needed Seattle to get through. So they've been used a lot. And then after that, you're looking at, like, you've got Detroit for popularity. They're not going to want to get used here. It's special week. And then do you have the stones to take Vegas against Alabama? No, sorry, against Cleveland.
Against the Florida Gators.
Right?
I'm
And
afraid
so-
Alabama beats them.
They might. I mean, if they play at a neutral field like Allegiant, Vegas is in trouble.
Yeah.
Yeah. So I don't know who I would take Vegas against, and but I mean, if you've got the stones and you're trying to save a team, I mean, I guess it's Vegas. But really, you're probably going to end up with one of those, San Francisco, Baltimore, Seattle teams, and I'd rather be saving Baltimore if you can. So now you're looking at San Francisco, who's chalky, and then Seattle. But again, no one's going to have over 30%, and you're not going to end up with, after those 3 teams, yeah, you're looking at everybody under 10, but who are you taking? I mean, if you have New England, I guess, you could take New England at Cincinnati if you like that spot, if you still have them remaining. Most people have burned them, but if you have them, it's probably a decent spot at Cincinnati. I don't really love the Green Bay, Minnesota game so much. Like, I don't know what I'm looking to take there. So, you look down the list. Now, if I'm looking at it from the other side of just favorites, it's almost the same. You got Baltimore is a big favorite, then Seattle, then Detroit, and then you go down to New England, San Francisco, the Rams, if you've got them versus Tampa. But I don't know. They're 6.5, but I'm not like crazy warm and fuzzy. Green Bay, Buffalo at Houston. I mean, I don't know. Buffalo's got better spots. Vegas probably does not have any better spots. Vegas doesn't have any spots.
Is this even a Vegas spot?
Vegas has a spot in the draft room, maybe. We don't know if they have a head coach in the draft room.
Well,
so I don't know. What do you like here? Do you want to go take
So-
Kansas City versus Indy? Like, how far down the list do you want to go?
so it was announced today that Shadur Sanders will be the starting quarterback
But this way,
for Cleveland.
I didn't know that, but when I saw Vegas was a favorite, I assumed that.
Yeah.
That's pretty much it. And so he did not have a good first outing.
Yeah.
But Vegas. But it's weird with Vegas, and I'm not saying anything good about him. Don't misunderstand me. But so I think I said to you last time, I might have said it on the pod. Like, I tried to look up and go, okay, well, they keep playing these messy, sloppy games. Maybe like they have a good defense and just like they're scrappy and can't score. And then I'm watching it and going, no, they're really not. They're just bad. And somehow when other teams show up, they just play down to the same level. Now, Dallas ran away with the game, but like I said, I didn't get to see it from where I was. But it looked like early on it was, they weren't running away with it as quickly. And then there are a lot of questionable decisions, et cetera. But so I don't know, like Cleveland, I don't want to look back and go, oh, well, they beat, the Packers because, one, Packers aren't as good as they appear. And two, the any given Sunday thing. But Cleveland kind of feels like the Raiders to me. They're not a very good team. They're a bad team. They have a better defense.
Well, I will
and
say,
they play kind of scrappy.
I will say, Cleveland does have a good defense.
They do. They have a far better defense.
So on one side of the ball, they got a good coordinator and they got a good defense.
We have an expensive coordinator.
We have an expensive coordinator and a really bad offense. And so, I don't think you're warm and fuzzy taking either side of that. Maybe if you have multiple entries left and then you want to be out on an island somewhere.
Like 10 of them?
Or
right. I mean, that's the thing. I mean, it doesn't surprise me if either of these teams win 12-9. Like,
right.
I just can't see anybody winning 35-3, but who knows? So I don't know, man. The Raiders don't seem to be able to score.
That's a problem.
So I think it's tough. And now you're playing a good defense and your offense is already bad. And it's not like your defense is spectacular. It's not like the 85 Bears where your defense is putting up points, right? So where are they going to get points to win? They're going to have to win a game like 9-3.
Yeah.
And I mean, I guess they could get points because Shador could throw pick sixes. He could turn the ball over in his own zone. He could take a couple of sacks, and they're punting from their own end zone. Raiders start from the 40, maybe kick 53-yard field goals. I don't know. But I just can't see this being a barn burner. But again, if you have the stones and you're really trying to save a team.
Feels like that Seattle Bears game in like week 17 last year.
That was one of the worst
games. That was just incredible.
Was so bad.
I think it ended up
and
9-6.
that was Geno.
Yeah.
And that was Geno.
Shocker.
And it was like, and Geno was the same garbage. I was like, well, maybe I'm watching a great defense. I'm not watching a great defense. Geno's just missing people by 4 yards, throwing it into the dirt.
Well, I think a lot of it is going to come down to availability for sure.
You think so?
So
You think?
Here's some data for you, some data points. So 450 of the remaining...
About half.
Yep, 47.9%.
That was close.
Have both Eagles and Ravens available.
Okay.
So if you want to take the Ravens this week versus the Jets, it looks like it's a free square, if you could call those. They're never a free square, trust me. But then...
Closest you're going to find.
But if the Ravens are heavily taken this week, you're going to be on the chalk again with the Eagles. So that's going to be a tough one.
And by the way, the Eagles have believe it or not, they have an even better spot than Chicago on Thanksgiving.
Yeah.
You know what that spot is, right? Vegas.
No, after Thanksgiving.
At home. No, I said correct. No, on Thanksgiving, right. They have the Thanksgiving spot. They have a better spot down the road.
That's right.
Right, because to your point, if you take Baltimore here, you're then probably taking the Eagles on Thanksgiving. That's the rationale, right? Which means you're going to be chalk here, chalk on Thanksgiving, and you don't get to take them in Week 15. Yeah. Week 15, they'll be the biggest favorite, but you're not... I don't know how many are going to have them left, but they won't be the chalk.
I think the next one, 107 of those also have the Lions. Okay. So I think if you have the Lions here, I mean, you are in the driver's seat because you can take the Lions in a low ownership spot here. You can wait and see how it plays out between Baltimore and Eagles. And then you can, you have three pretty good teams there, man. That's pretty dang good.
You do. Does someone have all three? Or you're not sure?
107 do.
Oh, I have all three.
Yeah.
That's a great spot.
Have all three of those. So out of the 450, 107 of those have all three.
Right. That's a great spot to be in.
Yeah, great spot to be in. 240 have used Baltimore and Seattle.
Okay.
So they're limited. And 540 have used Seattle and Detroit. Seattle looks like if you have them here, 29.4% of the pool have Seattle left. You could also look to save Seattle for a future spot if you feel like people might use them here.
You can, but if you're saving them, it's again, I understand there are other spots that aren't necessarily better in terms of probability of winning, but will be better in terms of EV because they'll have a very strong chance to win when people won't have them to use. Sure. But you have to figure out then who are you then using this week, right? Like, so I'm saving Seattle, so maybe I'm taking a little bit worse spot this week, but how much worse of a spot are you taking, right? Like, in other words, are you taking the Raiders in order to save Seattle? Right? I'm not saying do it, don't do it. I'm saying that's, for a lot of you that have Seattle, I would imagine that's probably one of the decision making. Like, what percentage of the field still has the Raiders? Too many. You didn't bother pulling that, I'm sure. I think there was one game we took them somewhere they won. I don't know if it was on one of our
that ticket's long gone.
But yeah,
we have them available.
That's good news. That's great news. So let's assume effectively 100% have them available, 94 or whatever, right? So, that's a spot. If you're trying to save Seattle, you could take the Raiders. And this is exactly the question. Are you willing to do that so that you can have a massive edge taking Seattle later against the team like, maybe at Atlanta, or at Carolina in Week 17, right? Those are some good spots. They're not quite as big a favorite, but it's a good spot because no one's going to own them anymore.
And whatever way you want to look at it, this becomes the very exciting part. It's like the gauntlet because you have to make 3 picks in an 8 to 9 day window. I'm including 9 days because the Monday night, it's the Giants at the Pats. So you're going to have to make a pick for this Sunday, Thursday, the following Sunday, or that Monday night game. And so
Or you just make one and you don't have to make any more if it doesn't go well.
Yeah, that you're hoping to make 3 selections, positive ones, in the next 8 to 9 days.
Hey, here are the stones. If you got 2 picks left, you can take one on the Raiders and one on Cleveland. One of them will have a really good ticket remaining because don't do that.
That's a good play.
Watch them tie.
And so, looking ahead to the special weeks here, Thanksgiving, I always look at these percentages in advance. Now, Eagles are at 74%. They're the highest win percentage, just 1% over the Ravens at 73%. And again, that is just hanging there waiting for the Burrow news.
That's interesting because I'm looking at, maybe I'm looking at something updated or I'm looking at something else, but I'm looking at the Ravens at 81% on Thanksgiving and Philadelphia at 75%.
Maybe they know something that I don't about Burrow.
I'm pulling it up live now.
Yep.
Well, not live when you're watching, live when we're sitting here.
Yep. Eagles at 59% and Lions at 60% at home versus the Packers. Chiefs at Cowboys. So Chiefs might be a good play there at the Cowboys and to get yourself kind of away from the pack. Maybe even the Lions if you have them. But otherwise, it looks like the majority will be on the Ravens and Eagles for that.
Too early to think about Christmas? Because it's related, right?
Never too early to think about Christmas.
Right. It's just, so, what are you looking at? So, like, you take Kansas City, that means you're not taking them on Christmas. Not that, but Christmas, they're all such bad spots. Like, who's the good spot on Christmas, right?
Chiefs.
You got Chiefs,
67%.
Right? They're right, and they're also 67% roughly at Dallas now. So, like, I don't know. So, yeah, you got 67% the Chiefs. You've got, right now, Detroit, 61% at Minnesota, even though they lost to Minnesota recently. Dallas is now 57% at Washington.
How about them Cowboys? That's the highest percentage that they have had since the beginning of the season.
Is it really?
So it looks like Daniels might not come back. And then obviously recency bias has, people kind of liking the Cowboys. So
correct. It's literally, I know I've said this before, it was literally, I asked you, it was week 6 or 5 or 7 or something. And it's like, all right, well, I assume we'll end up going with the chalk on Christmas. We'll go Washington to beat Dallas, right? And I kind of wanted to save Detroit, which we didn't anyway. Burned them, but we saved them on some other tickets. Long dead that Bye-bye. Ticket. But it was, you go, no, I don't know. I don't really love Detroit in that spot. Washington looks good. I'm like, I don't know. It's hypothetical. What if Daniels is out? Would you rather take Washington without Daniels, or even Dallas against Washington with no Daniels? Like, if we have both available, would you rather take Detroit? And it's like, well, I can't predict as Daniel. And then, of course, Daniels goes out, right? So, and there's nothing psychic about it. It's just you have to be prepared.
You have to have
in the NFL,
teams.
You have to have multiple spots. And technically speaking, if you have Washington and Dallas, you do have multiple spots. You do. It's the reality is you do. And there have been, some dogs that have won, particularly on that day. It was L.A. Joneser, right?
Yeah. Well, that was
on that was on Thanksgiving. But this,
yeah. To your point, but yeah, the best play is the 5-5 Chiefs at 67%, and the Broncos look like they have their number.
I know, and that's the best play.
That's the best play. Unbelievable. Well,
are the Broncos good? Or are they frauds? I'm waiting.
9-2. They have to be decent.
You saw the Raiders game. See, I didn't, but I did watch. I masochistically watched it on the highlight film.
I don't know.
And I remember if I said at the time, it's fine if we don't take Denver here when they were playing the Raiders. But keep in mind, if we don't, that means we're probably taking them in Vegas instead later. Yeah. So we're going to take them on the road. And now after watching them at home, you're not supposed to be that tainted by the eye test. It's a Thursday game. It's a short week. It's a fluky thing. I have a feeling when Denver comes to Vegas, they smoke them. Yeah. Like, I don't think the fact they played that sloppy game before is going to have any meaning whatsoever. But
so in the AFC, there's 2 9-2 teams. There's the Patriots, and then there's the Broncos. But actually, are the Patriots 10-2? I think they're.
I think so. They lost to the Raiders.
Either way, I think if the Chiefs play at Patriots or at Denver, I think the books are going to make favors. They are
for sure against the Patriots, probably against Denver. The Patriots have what did you send this to me? Somebody they've had one of the easiest schedules of all time.
Yeah,
NFL history.
Yeah,
we were talking about that.
But they're still performing.
Yeah.
They're still performing. And by the way, yes, they've had an easy schedule, and they started off a little slow, the Raiders. But it's not like they're necessarily winning games 10-7 or 12-9. They're winning games like 35-7. They're out there smoking teams.
Yeah.
Drake's making a point.
And if you
If
don't,
only the Titans could get a coach like that. I think it was.
Yeah, who would have ever wanted Mike Vrabel as a coach? Unbelievable. Well, if you don't get through the special weeks, or maybe even if you do and want to add an entry, head over to Survivor Sweat. Prior to jumping on over there, what do we got, Nick, for these implied value?
The current implied value in the main contest comes out to $19,934. And as Russ said earlier on this podcast, the Grandissimo implied value comes out to $1.15 million.
Yeah, I looked over on the marketplace, and they have, I think it was like 88, 90 entries, ranging between 1% and 99%. It looked about $300 to $400 per point based on the entry and what teams are available. They have some that have pick control. Obviously, they have a few six-packs. There's like 2 that are being offered as six-packs.
Not in Grandissimo.
No, in fact, that would be 1 six-pack.
Yeah, no kidding.
I did not see any Grandissimo entries.
I think someone should go out there, and it begs the question, we should have asked Sam, would he be willing to sell at 1.5? I don't know that anybody's buying at 1.5, but I'm not looking at their specific entries. I would be suspect if any entry is actually worth more than that.
Yeah.
Like with only 6 left, and you have the variance in coming into the special week games. We got to go bang, bang, unless you tell me one team really has nobody left.
Yeah.
So my guess is they don't. They want to play it out a little more. They probably take 2 or some crazy number, but it's funny because you just have a psychological barrier where they probably wouldn't go buy a team for 1.5 now. They probably wouldn't pay 1.1 to buy that entry if they weren't in, and yet they probably wouldn't sell it for 1.5, which is not logical, right? Like there should be some spread. There should be some number, even if there's a gap, there should be some number you're willing to buy at, some number you're willing to sell at. But you get into the contest, like you and I have said, like we're not really sellers. We have partners. We've made deals, but we've never really just sold. We've never actually gone out there and sold. It's very hard to sell, and yet we've said we should take entries and put them out there, and just at a price that. We don't really want to sell, but if somebody pays that number, we are supposed to sell.
Yeah. The last sale, it was 75%, this is the main, 75% of an entry for $29K. That was the last recorded sale.
Also, keep in mind it's Wednesday morning at 10:45. So the marketplace ebbs and flows. So it's probably going to be way different by the time you guys watch this show.
Sure.
By the way, I think that's a good sell. Might be a good buy depending on the reason they bought, but from a sell perspective, you're, 100% of the entry is worth, what would you say was 29,000? They sold
29K for
right.
75%.
And 100% is worth 19 and change, so call it even 20,000. So they sold 75%. They're free rolling. I mean, they're more than free rolling. It's $1,000 for the entry, but from what the face value of the entry is even today, they're free rolling 25%.
Yep.
I think that's probably a pretty good. I mean, it's never really terrible to hedge.
Yeah.
You're unlikely to make it this deep too often, but you're also very, very unlikely to win. It's still really, really hard.
Yeah, it's hard to win.
It's hard to win.
We're not close, so.
It's hard to
And
win.
we're not close.
We're definitely
Nick,
not close.
Tell us a little bit about Saturday Night Sweat and where the listeners can find this.
I wanted to comment on something that Mike said earlier in this podcast. If you're still alive in Grandissimo, shoot me a message at Survivor Sweat on X. We would love to have you on this upcoming Saturday Night Sweat live stream. It's an invitation. We would like to, pick your brain and just talk about, this Grandissimo contest getting down to the wire. Saturday Night Sweat this week is going to be a lot of the usual suspects that you've been seeing. Also, if you're subscribed here on YouTube, your phone will buzz and it'll be pretty easy for you to see on your YouTube feed. Also, when we go live on X, a tweet will be posted automatically. But if for some reason you can't find our live stream, go to our X page, tap our profile picture, and it'll bring up a live stream in a separate tab. So.
And yeah, if you're concerned, like in Grandissimo, you're right. We'd love to have you on. And if you're like, well, I don't really want to go tell my strategy and give it all away, that's all right. You can come on there and just tell everybody else how stupid they are to make bad picks. Like,
sure.
Just come on, have a good time with it. You never know.
Yeah, last week we had Sam Soverall, who has an entry in Grandissimo. The week prior, we had Tony Gordon. He goes by Derbify, and he's a past Circa Millions winner. And he is the pick control of a group. of individuals out there, and it's just fun to pick their brain, and they talk about their path and what's going on at the time. And then,
you might even just talk about, why you enjoy playing Survivor. What's your background? Why do you like it? Like when David Williams says he's never done this before and now he loves it. Next year they're going to max, right? Like,
a lot of the stuff we do on the show is just kind of shooting the shit about ball, which is cool too. So.
Yeah, so I'm just saying you don't feel as if you don't want to come on because you're afraid to give up your strategy.
We had a few weeks back, we had the Meatball Brothers on there. It's a group.
Right.
And I think Tony asked them, he goes, what's your guys' process on Fridays and Saturdays? How do you go about it? Do you guys get on a phone call, a thread? And I forget which one. And he goes, he goes, it's just a bunch of alcohol and analytics. And I go, that's a shirt.
Yep, exactly.
So now they're making a shirt, alcohol and analytics.
That's a good shirt.
And I was like,
we want 3 shirts.
and I was like, now that's an AA that I would attend.
Exactly.
It was great. I literally just like spit out whatever I was drinking.
Probably tequila.
Most likely.
While you were analyzing.
There you go. So, yeah, and we always either have Paul Howard or Mitch Moss on. It's been great. And by the way, Mitch Moss still has an entry in here.
I forgot about that. Yep.
Oh, yeah. Paul's dead, but he still likes to come on and sweat. But Mitch does, and so it's great. So, if you have any questions, comments, hit us up at mbuckmiller on X.
By the way, sorry.
Rosenblum Art.
Yeah, no, I know who I am. It doesn't matter. No, if you were Washington, how quickly would you even race Chase Daniels back?
Yeah, that's the decision.
Shouldn't even really be a decision.
Yeah, I've listened to a few podcasts, Sports Talk Radio, other things. They're like, why is Burrow coming back?
Right.
Why would Daniels come back? And Kurt Warner said, well, when you're healthy, you have teammates.
I know.
And your competitor.
I know. And your teammates actually want to make a run next year too.
That's right.
I mean, you're like a franchise guy. I understand you're like, the third wideout. You could make the argument of like, we're still not playing because third wideout could be still pretty good, but I don't know. Yeah.
And Kurt Warner discussed both sides of that coin. He goes, if I'm an owner / GM / coach, I'm sitting you. But if I'm the player, I want to play.
Right, and so this comes to the whole thing when, if I remember correctly, Daniels went out when there was already a blowout game. Mm-hmm. I remember saying, like, why do they leave these guys in anyway? And then a few plays later he gets hurt. But if you're going to say he should come back and play, it's the same logic. Then they shouldn't have sat him in that game either. Like, it's for the fans. It's entertainment for the fans, right? So
that's what I was thinking. I don't want to piss the fan base off.
Right. I mean, whatever. And so, but don't worry. The fan base is. You're from Chicago. They're going to be pissed no matter what, right? They're going to be pissed if you sit them, and now they're going to be pissed because now I thought we were finally going to be good. Now we don't have a quarterback.
Yeah, and look at Jackson Dart in the same thing, but
quite the same.
You want him to get the reps because he is a rookie.
That's where it's not the same thing to me. Not the same thing.
But the longer time goes away from that concussion, the data has shown that you're less likely.
Correct.
But like if he comes back in and he's getting those reps and he goes down with concussion.
I know.
I mean, Neighbors is
and
out.
It could be like
Scadaboo's out.
It'll be like Tua, who probably should have just retired 2 years ago. And
yeah, because you're like, okay, we found our quarterback here.
Correct.
And we want to make a run. We want to get him reps. And then if he gets the concussion again, then it's like, to your point, and then it has that stigma. And so, I mean, there's just, what do you do? And so I guess if the medical team says you're good to go on the field, you go on the field. And so...
Right, but you reach a point, I think this is true. Let's say that, again, same thing. They run the table negatively, loss. And with the medical team, do you think realistically come out in week 17, 18, go, you're good to go?
Yeah.
Or do you think they just don't look? Because at that point, I don't know the last time I've seen a spot like that where, like, take Aaron Rodgers, who got nicked up. You think he's coming back in week 18? Unless it's like a playoff run, like if they have a shot to win the division, whatever. Mm-hmm. But if it's just a team that you're not going anywhere, you're going to take a guy back like that and say even the player, I think at that point is like, I don't need to come in for this. And for a junk game. In a game where you might sit him anyway, like in the best of circumstances, like a preseason game. He might come in and play like 2 drives and then sit. So I'm going to even send him in. Just let him rest for another 4 months.
And to reference again what Kurt Warner said, he goes, oh yeah, Dart should come back in. He needs those reps. You just tell him don't run.
Good luck.
I'm like, how do you do that? I mean, that is part of his skill set. Now, design run, different, but he's just making shit happen.
That's like telling Michael Vick to like not sponsor dogfights. It's just not going to happen. You can cut that now too soon. No.
Oh my gosh. All right. Well, that's
on that note.
That's a wrap. Hit us up at Survivor Sweat. on the X handle. Get your pick in, and you've been listening. So if you're still in, congrats. And we're going to go through the gauntlet here.
And Michael Vick did redeem himself. I think even the ASPCA said thank you. So
yeah.
Kudos to the dog killer. Whatever. Anyway, he could run Homeland Security with that background. All right.
We will see you next week.
Later.